Right, cheers. I'm starting this tutorial for you. I'll start it as a new game, so you can follow along. You'll see exactly what I'm seeing. I am playing this on the PC, so there might be a few differences between certain things, but for the most part, it should be the same. Right, so go to new game, fresh start, and these are the difficulty levels. The difficulty levels just change the amount of damage enemies do to you and you do to enemies. That's all. They don't change the type of enemies you fight or anything like that, or the number of enemies, as far as I'm aware. There's some other little smaller differences, and also you can change these at any point throughout the game. So if you're finding this, it's too difficult, just lower it. So I'll start on normal. Storing sword and show tutorials. Leave these on because they'll be quite useful to you at the start. Although they do, little tutorial boxes do pop up quite often at the start because everything's obviously new. The Simulate Witcher 2 save, leave to off. This is for if you've played Witcher 2 and the certain choices you've made in Witcher 2. Which characters you interact with, who are enemies or friends or ones you may have killed. It'll change if they what's the word, if they're actually alive or dead in this game, or if they're your friend or enemy in this game. So leave that to off, and it just chooses the default options for those sort of things. It doesn't change the game in any major way, but there's just such a huge cast of characters. It'll just impact whether some of those are actually in the game or not, or how they interact with you throughout the game. So I'll leave that to off. Right, then I'll skip through the cutscenes. So you can see all them as you start the game. Right, then it starts off in Kaer Morhen, and it's basically a little tutorial, which is I've forgotten about this. It's actually pretty useful, actually. Right, so it's telling me on the right. Look, mini-map and objectives are on the right. Use your Witcher senses to find the key to the bedroom door. Right, the button for Witcher senses is LT. Probably told me that. Yes, it does tell me that, Witcher T. You'll use this quite often, actually. You'll use it for looting items as well. Any items you need to search for, you need to interact with, are highlighted in red. So when I let go, they'll disappear. They won't glow. So if I walk over here, here's the key. I need to pick it up. I can unlock the door. So when I hold the Witcher senses down, it's highlighting the door as well as yellow. So unlock the door and go down. Go to the low level. See, the mini-map is actually showing me a path to take as well to get to the objective.
Old Witcher's fast asleep. Ciri's disappeared somewhere, of course.
Alright, I'll skip through this bit. Might have to go through a few dialogue bits.
Guess she prefers practice to theory. Time to wake up, Master. These lessons so boring they put you to sleep too?
Damn it. Had her taking notes on ghouls and owl-ghouls. Wanted to rest my eyes a bit.
Making her slog through that brick? No wonder she took off.
John of Bruges lacks flair, true, but he's reliable. Not like the hogwash they print nowadays. She's tackling the pendulums, right? How many times do I have to tell her? Don't train alone. It only embeds your errors. Bring our young damsel to the lower courtyard. She wants to practice, she'll get to practice.
Right, then often, so you get these dialogue options. You'll have this throughout the game, and
Gotta admit, we've spoiled her.
We've spoiled her. I've been saying it from the start. Ciri needs a firm hand.
some of those dialogue options can be minor, but then depending on the stage of game or or the particular quest you do, and they can have major, big impacts as well.
Partly to blame, but this has to end now. Killing monsters is not something.
Let's skip through this.
I'll
See
see
if I
you.
can get to the tutorial. Skip through
You've got
that.
work to do. You
Maybe for a whip.
think drowners or striggers will go easy on you because you... Though in your shoes, I'd fear Vesemir more than any strigger. Disobeying his instructions?
Well, yes, but that book was...
I know.
I'm sorry.
Better not. Vesemir said if it does, he'll... Exactly.
Shall we?
Right. I think this is just the basics of walking, I think, and climbing ladders and jumping and things.
To the bottom.
Maybe if you fall.
Down to lower courtyard. Hey, you see the tutorial talks you through all this anyway. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. So you'll use the one controller to move, and the other controller, the right controller does the camera, and the left control stick moves, joystick moves.
What did I tell you about breathing? Through your mouth, in rhythm with your steps.
Yeah, you've got to be careful as well. You have, like it's telling you, falling from height.
Siri, cut it out.
It doesn't actually take a great fall to kill him. You have got to be careful. And he'll walk if I just gently push the controller, and he'll run if I hold it. I'm learning here as well because I've got my controller plugged into the PC, and I usually use the mouse and keyboard, but I'll do the controller, so it's exactly the same as you'll be doing on the Xbox. There we go. And I can't slide on a ladder. I forget it's B, and he jumps off like if you're not too far from the bottom.
Run into trouble? Should I turn back and help you?
The steps, yeah.
Na 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 na.
I'll run into sprint. Oh, I see.
Oh no, Vesemir's got that look.
What did you expect?
Right, this is the combat bit then. It says.
Anything to say for yourself?
I'm very sorry.
Young blood crave.
By markings, like unto the panther. But you were asleep, Uncle.
So you did the reading. Why not admit it right off?
Never pounce on an advantage as soon as it appears. Wait till it stands to have maximum effect. Uncle Vesemir's words.
Well, you're a quick study. Quick, but mischievous. Fine, we've talked enough. Geralt, you're with me, Lambert with Eskel, Ciri with the dummy.
Again?
Stop groaning and grab a sword. What do you think? Should we start by reviewing the fundamentals or go right to free training?
Should work on the basics. Even skilled masters need...
Draw your sword, Geralt.
Right. Now this is using the directional pad now to draw the sword. Right, press R to select or deselect the target.
Quick cuts. 1, 2, 3.
And then X to fast attack, right, okay. And strong strikes are Y.
Never lock your elbow when striking, young lady.
Right, so like you're saying, there's two kinds of attacks.
Remember,
X does the fast attack, and then alright, and to dodge, press B. Okay.
Slow as a fly trapped in amber today. Do it again.
Right, and the best way I found of fighting in this is you've got to dodge and keep your guard up as well. Not the wave below choose direction. I use press it using A. Right, okay. Right, so LT to parry. Right, so I'm holding. What I'm doing now is holding down LT. And whenever he does a fast attack, I'm automatically blocking him. Right, so I'm keeping LTL down. And if you press LT again, just as before your opponent strikes, it'll perform a counter attack. Oop, I didn't time that right then. Right, but here we go.
Now, youngling, to bring the day to a close, we'll go over a few witches' signs. Let's start with Gwen.
Right, so I'll go over all this again now, Ches. I'm just figuring out for myself with the control pad. So if you hold down, what's this LB now, right? While you're fighting, it'll bring up this circular menu. You'll use this to change the sign you're actually using. There's 5 different signs all listed there. So he's telling us to use the Quen sign. And then I'll use RT then to activate it.
Sometimes called the witch's shield. Now watch carefully to see why. Cast Igni, Geralt. I want to see sparks fly.
So LB again, select Igni, and then A to activate. Oh, no, press RT to cast. There we go.
Not for the Gwen sign. I'd be. What now? Alright, Geralt. Come on.
Alright, so I got to change the sign I got selected. Look, you show it in the top left. You've got the big red bar. That's your health. On this game, they call it vitality. You have to remember that because you'll have potions and things and different abilities, and it'll say recovers a certain amount of vitality or a certain amount of stamina. But the vitality is the health bars, which is the red bar. The smaller yellow bar is your stamina bar. And when you use a sign, it'll completely drain that stamina bar, right? So I can tell us I've still got Igni selected. So I'll cast that now. And can you see the yellow bar drain completely? So I can't cast again now until that fully recharges. So right, he's telling me now to swap to Ard. So if I press the LB button and hold it, right, when you're on this menu, it slows down time very, very slowly. Look, so you've got plenty of time, but he is going to attack me if you're not quick. So select Ard. No, I haven't selected. Press the right button A to activate it. Right, so you can see now on the left hand side, it's changed the sign to Ard.
Stop showing off, Geralt. See that, Ciri? Ard will knock anyone or anything off balance. Destroy their rhythm. Time for Axie. Damn it. I hate
Right,
this
so I'll
game.
change to Axie now. So that one, press A, and then press RT to use Axie.
Axie can really muddle your mind. Erden now. Show her, Geralt.
Right, and then here and then.
See this, Ciri? Couldn't move if I wanted to.
Right, Yrden, look, creates a circular,
Don't worry, Ciri. Quen will dampen the blow.
you call it, just a circular area on the ground. and if he walks into that area, it'll be slowed down.
Blazes are you?
Alright, and he wants me to select a bomb now as well. You won't. Again, I don't think you'll have these off the bat. Maybe something you'll get later on. So how do you throw a bomb? LB, select bomb A. Step, I throw a bomb by pressing RB. Alright, I'm holding RB now, and I can aim it now.
Showing off, Geralt.
There we go. Alright, let's give me a little aiming practice as well with the bombs.
Fine. Enough. Continue training at will.
Right, so combat in this game is all about dodging, really. If you just keep hammering the attack button, see it, I might get a few hits in, but then you'll strike me back. And if you're surrounded by enemies, it's not the best approach. I used to die quite a lot at the start until I sort of got the mechanics of it down.
How long you gonna make
So
me wait?
what you gotta use is that dodge button. So what I'm doing now is moving away from him, pushing B is the dodge. See, so I can parry around him for quite a long time, and it's the same with all enemies really. It's keeping out their way until they miss, like he did then, and then going for the attack. Right. So that's all I'm doing now is just pressing B to jump away from him. He hasn't actually hit me. Right. So that's B just does a small dodge. If I hold A, it'll do quite a big roll, right? So the roll is very good as well, because if you quickly get surrounded by enemies, you can just push A to roll quite a distance out of the way. Right, and then if you can combine this with holding, let's see now, it's LT now, right? So you can hold down LT to keep his guard up, right? And even if he gets hit luck with the sword, he's not taking any damage. All I'm doing now is holding down LT, right? But as you can see then, that didn't do anything then when he used a sign against me. But generally monsters, when you fight the monsters, they won't be using signs or things like that, especially the ones at the start. They'll just come at you with sort of claw attacks, and if you've got your guard held up with LT, it'll stop them anyway. Enemies can do a strong attack, which may break through the guard, but it doesn't hurt to get in the habit of just holding that up and just dodging. Right, so now right, so dodge and attack with X, and Y is the heavy attack. Right, heavy attack does more damage, but if you miss, God, I'm doing a very good job of dodging there. If you miss, the trouble is then there's a few seconds where you're sort of vulnerable. So if he's missed there, look, I've got a good chance then. See, that's a heavy attack, and another heavy. Ooh, he's had me that time. So it's all about getting that dodge down, keeping out of their way and attacking like that once he's missed. And getting a few shots in, not being too greedy. And you can combine that then with the signs. So if I use signs now, so if I change, I'll use, what can I use? Right, I always use Quen. It's very effective. Alright. So if I press RT, right, when he uses Quen, it makes a protective shield around his body, and if he gets hit, the shield will absorb that damage up to a point, and then it'll break. So that is broken now. So if I cast it again, right, you can see that it'll 100% coming up. and there's a little green arrow counting down. See, it's on the left there. So I know that's my Quen shield. You can actually see there's like a little light going around his body, so it's still active. When I get hit, if I take my guard down, see it's broken now, so I'll have to recast it. There we go. And this is probably the sign I used the most. See the percentage going down as well as I got hit, so it's still up, but it's taking some damage now. If I recast it, it'll go back to 100%. Ooh. There we go, look. So I'd always recommend use it, always use Quen. Whenever I go into combat, the first thing I do is always put Quen up. So it gives you that extra bit of defense. So let's change to Ard now. See. So none of these signs will sort of kill anyone outright, but it gives you the advantage. Like I can use Ard, knocks him back, I can get a few hits. Use Ard again, get a few hits in. Now the Ard sign doesn't actually do any damage. It's just like a force blast. When it hits him, it'll just knock him back. Now with smaller enemies, it can knock them right off their feet. You can finish them off with one hit. But larger enemies, then it might have sort of very little impact on. Again, it's just trying it and seeing what works and what doesn't, against certain enemies. That's Ard. Right, Igni is the fire one, which is always quite effective. And if you power it up as well, it can actually set your enemies on fire as well. And of course, you can get lots of hits in then if they're on fire. But again, they don't do a great deal of damage. You're not going to kill any enemies just by using the signs. So you've always got to use your sword in combat. Right, and you went through the others. Axii. Oh, I've stopped the tutorial now. I don't know if I've done that. I must have done something accidentally there, or just ended up timed out. I don't know. Right, so I'll skip through this bit now, and it'll start. This is where the game actually starts properly.
You all right?
Had a nightmare.
About?
Take forever.
Dawn, sir.
Right, see if I can skip through all these.
Started in the get.
Triss,
Yennefer.
was she true to... We'll find...
And
Those will... I've trained... Didn't end well. It was just a...
be dawning soon.
Wait.
Didn't
Stop talking.
you were gonna read it, not snip.
They must meet. What's this postscript?
That's private.
Uh-huh.
Back on topic.
2 or 3 days. Wait, you're that...
Right, so you start off straight. It doesn't start easy. You start straight into battle. These aren't. I think I actually died to these the first time I played. So but again, it's the same thing, right? So I've got my guard up there, and if they attack, let this one attack me now. See, and I fended off his attack. So I'm dodging. Right, I haven't selected either. It does tell you to you can target a specific enemy, but I tend not to do that. Because sometimes you can target an enemy and that particular enemy might run away from you. So sometimes it's better not to target an enemy, and he'll always go for the one that's closest to him. Right, you target an enemy. I've forgotten now where it was in the tutorial, was it? Ah, there it is. You've got to push down. Just so you know, you push down the right control button, the right joystick. So I've targeted that particular one now, so all my attacks will go towards him. Right, so Right, so the first thing I should do is push LB now, practice what I preach, and use the Quen sign first. So even if I get hit now, that'll absorb the damage. Right, the first time I'd done this, I just went charging in, trying to attack them as fast as possible. So I lost my Quen sign again, so I'll recast that now. There we go. Right, kill that one. He's gone. See, and he hit me then, so I lost my Quen sign. It is very fast, and it's a lot to get your head around when you first start playing it. But it doesn't, it doesn't take too long, and it's sort of learning not to panic. So again, I've got LT held down, so he's got his guard up, so he's got the sword up. So if he does lunge at me, I'll be able to stop it. But again, the trouble is, this game becomes a lot harder when you're surrounded by enemies, because of course then they can attack from behind, like that, and I might not be able to fend off all the attacks. Right, let's try and combine it now with a sign. See, he stunned him then. That was a large attack. That was then. It was a heavy attack. So even though he defended it, it stunned him for a few seconds. But luckily I didn't get hit. So right, let's recast Quen. And I'll change now to, let's use an attack one, Igni. Right. There we go. Right, and you can see I've taken a bit of damage as well. My health bar's gone down slightly, right? The only way to heal is to consume food and drink. So if you can see on the bottom left, I've got bread and water. So let's see, I think I can get this wrong now. So directional keypad, I believe, if I hold down this. Yeah, it tells me down there, look on the bottom left now. Up on the directional keypad for bread. Here we go. Right, and you can see then my health bar's going back up. And it actually takes a bit of time to consume the food, so it doesn't instantly heal. It doesn't instantly take the health bar straight back up. You've got it. It takes a bit of time. So again, if your health bar's going down, don't leave it too long to use. Consume your food and water. All right. Right, let's try a different sign so you can see them all in action. Yarden, now I'll try against them. Alright, so see, slow down now when he comes into that area. It'll slow him down. Again, it's more effective against some enemies than others. And if I change to Ard, that's the Force Blast. So it did knock him off his feet, but it did stun him. And then let's change again to Axii. So he's stunned. So I can get quite a few hits on him now while he's stunned. Right, and as I said before, when you're casting signs, it consumes stamina, which is the smaller yellow bar. You can't cast a sign until that's fully charged. Right. There we go. So I've cast that Axii on him now, so he's still stunned. So there's only one left now. If you hit them from behind as well, you usually do a critical hit. It takes a lot more energy off them. There is no sort of that's the other thing as well. There's no really, can I say it, easy combat situations. Even as you go up the levels, you've always got to sort of pay attention to what you're doing, and you can get quickly surrounded by enemies and get killed. Right, and every time you beat enemies, you get a certain amount of experience points. Right, let's talk about experience points. Right, let's show you the menu now. So we went over the health bar menu, right? Right, if I push the menu button, that's the one with the 3 lines, it brings up this page here, and the inventory is one you'll use quite often, so I'll show you how that works now. Oh, the tutorial's actually good. It goes into quite a lot of detail. I forgot it went into this much detail, to be honest. Everything is shown you highlighted there is what you've actually got equipped and you're using. Anything you loot and pick up will go into these. There's 5 tabs there. It'll be slotted into one of those tabs. Telling you exactly what I'm saying. It shows your health there, look, as well. Toxicity, I'll go over toxicity later, maybe in another tutorial. It's not too important at the moment. Right, so show me they've got the 2 swords equipped. It does tell you in the tutorial, I think, he uses steel swords against humans and non-humans. Like a non-human could be like an animal, like a bear or a wolf or a wild dog or something. And the silver sword against monsters. Whenever he goes into combat, he automatically draws out the right sword. So don't actually worry too much about drawing the sword. He'll always draw a sword out when he needs to, and it's always the correct one. So this tab here shows all your weapons and armor. There's nothing in there at the moment. It doesn't show anything that's equipped is on the right. It won't list them on the left. So if you do pick up a new sword or another bit of armor, it'll be listed on the left hand side. And what you'll have to do is drag it to show now. Actually, I'll take the. See, I've unequipped the sword, unequipped the chest armor, unequipped the gloves. Right. Don't fight naked, it's not a good idea. You can take it, you can go right down to his pants if you want. Right, so they're not actually, anything on the left now isn't actually equipped and being used. Right, so make sure you've always equipped it. See, I haven't got, what have I done there? There we go. There we go, so he's fully equipped now. So if you do loot any weapons and armor, it'll be listed on the left, but you'll have to equip it first. Let's bear that in mind. What am I doing? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I've gone to a different menu. There's a lot of right, it's back to inventory. So that tab shows weapons and armor. This shows oils, potions, and bombs. I'll go into them maybe on another tutorial. Because he hasn't actually got any at the moment. He's only got Torniel, which you won't really use. Right, all the food and drink he's got will be listed on this middle tab. Again, you'll have to drag it. So let me show you. I've unequipped those now, see, so they're on the left. So if you want to actually use it when you're in combat or in the world, you have to equip it first. So any consumables, any food, drink, and potions, you'll have to equip like that. And now you can actually use them. You use all those by the directional keypad. Any other items you loot will be listed there. Craft and alchemy, I'll get into craft and alchemy, maybe on another tutorial. Right, so if I come back out of this now, any enemy you kill will leave loot, and you'll find loot everywhere in the world. So I'm going to pick them up. So where are the other ones we killed? Right, now the easiest way to find things to loot is to use your Witcher senses, which you did right at the start, so that's the LT button. So I'll hold that down. What happens is then the sound goes kind of, the audio goes kind of muffled, but it'll highlight things you can pick up in yellow, so it makes it a lot easier to spot. You'll find quite a few things when you do this. So that's loot off an enemy. Take that. There's the other bit of enemy loot. Wrong button. Right, I need to loot. Alright, so there's all sorts of things you can loot. You can take herbs and plants as well. You will use them to make certain potions. But you don't have to loot apps. You spend all day looting. There's no need to take everything. Like while you're starting, it wouldn't hurt to pick up some, just to get some sort of plants and things. And if you come across unusual plants you haven't picked up, it'd be worth picking them up. But don't go nuts, because if you come to find this, you want to make a certain potion, it'll give you a list of ingredients, and then you can go looking then if there's something you haven't got, and you can buy certain ingredients off merchants anyway. So don't go nuts. The other good thing Witcher Senses do is show, you might have noticed this when I've done it earlier, there's those sort of sonar symbols. What is showing you is monster locations. Right, if you look, you can see them walking about down. There's more Alguls down there, but this will show you if there's any monsters in the distance. So it's a good way of using that as you're exploring the world to make sure you're sort of in the clear, not going to stumble across anything. You usually, as a general rule, if you're on the main roads, you're usually okay. And if you're in villages, you're okay. You won't be attacked by random monsters. But soon, it doesn't take long. If you head off into the wilderness, it won't take long until you stumble into something. Right. So what is it next? Right. So you can see my health bar still down. So I'll have to either use the bread to get the health bar back up, or another thing I can do is meditate. So, right, I believe anyway, on the harder difficulties, meditating doesn't recover your health bar, but I'm just going to give this a go and see if it works. So again, I push the 3 lines to get into the inventory. There's the meditation tab. Right, you can select alright, then select a specific time to meditate. Use Alright, I see. Right, okay. This is also good as well. If you've got to meet someone at a certain time of day, it's a good way of skipping forward in time. Right, so I've meditated there, and it'll happen instantly. So let's see. That's recovered my health. It has. Look, I think on the harder difficulties it won't do that. Right, and it probably won't. It's probably not sensible to do that anyway in near monsters. But again, it's a good way of quickly recovering your health. Right, what else am I going to tell you? Right, horse riding is pretty easy. A to jump on, and hold A to canter. So that's quite a slow pace, and you can go at speed then. Oh. And gallop, press A twice to gallop, so you'll go a lot faster. When Roach is on a path, if all you have to do is hold down A, and you'll follow the path.
Radovid's pledged to restore the old borders as soon as he wins the war.
Right, there's a little abandoned village here, so if I jump off, B to dismount. Oh, I didn't need this. Hold B to dismount. Right, so I'm doing wrong. Tell I don't play with the controller. I'm all over the place with the controls. Right, so if I use the Witcher Senses again, there's always stuff to loot in the world everywhere. Right, you can walk right into people's houses and nick stuff. It's a bit unrealistic in that regard. The only exception is anywhere that there's armed guards around. If they catch you stealing, they will attack you. And at the moment, your character, if I go back into the inventory page, see it says on the top right, you're level 1. Now, that's one thing I didn't show you in the fight, is the level of the enemies, because it is quite important. You should only fight enemies that are at or sort of either below, at, or very close to your level. Any enemies that are well above your level will show up with a red skull above them. Right? You just got to avoid them, because there's a possibility they could just kill you with one hit. and unfortunately that's something that's not going to change until you go up the levels. Right, there's a wolf coming there now. So, right, if you see the number 5, that means he's level 5, and I'm level 1. So it may take quite a few hits. Stunned him now with Axie. Got him. Right, if it wasn't a level 5, it was a red skull there, it means he's quite a few levels. I'm not sure what the threshold is, if it's like 7 levels above you or 10 levels above you, but then there's got the potential then to kill you in one hit, so it's you're better off not risking that fight. And the guards, I know, will all be red skulls, because I died to the guards the first time I played as well. I think I nicked someone a bit too close to somebody's home. Right, so if I use my Witcher senses in here, nothing to nick in there. Nothing in there. Again, you just all you have to do is walk in, use your Witcher senses. See, right, seeing this is highlighted in yellow now. So there's a chest here. I can nick whatever's in the chest. There's leather straps and white wolf hide. They just craft a lot of the stuff you'll find will be crafting items. So again, if you go to inventory now, they will be listed under. There we go. Other items. White wolf hide. So you can use some of these items for crafting. The other thing you can do with them is sell them if you don't need them. So again, right, let's go through this inventory page. There's quite a lot in here. I did mention the amount of money he's got is the 250. The ways of making money in the game are by completing quests and basically selling any things you've looted. So I could, again, the only thing I really need now is food, I would say, because you haven't really got much at the moment, and you definitely need it in combat. So let's get back on Roach. So I think it's not long now, and I'll get to it. I think there's one village. Right, the other thing I'll show you now is the map. So if I again press that menu, world map. Right, and I can zoom all the way out with the right joystick and zoom back in. So it shows your current location. It will show you the signposts, right, that you'll encounter throughout the world. Now what you can do is, if you're at a signpost, you can fast travel to any other signpost you've found. So it's a faster way of going around the map rather than going on horseback everywhere. And it'll also show you then the current quest you're following. So if I go to Arbianx, I can quickly go through these different menus by pressing the LB and RB buttons. Right, there is quite a lot of menus here, look. Right, but the ones you'll use most often is the inventory page you need to know about, and the world map, right, which I was just showing you. So it shows you where you need to head for your current quest. It's always highlighted with this orange target. So if I go to this is the quest page. The only current quest is the main quest now, and that's to follow Vesemir. So if I go to the map page, it's showing me, look, that's where he is at the moment. So if I come completely out of this menu now, and if I look on the mini map, which is on the top right, it's telling me to head straight forward, look. So press A to catch up with Vesemir.
We going? Help me! Help!
gods, that was close. I was sure I'd end up like my mare.
Provided you got lucky.
Your horse died quickly, but griffins like to toy with their prey.
Right, let's skip through this bit.
Oh,
So I think after this you'll head to the village, and I can tell you a few things at the village, and I think we'll wrap her up after that. 'Cause I can't believe it's nearly been an hour already.
We helped. They also say mice are... Back to the trail.
Like I said,
you seek someone?
Yes,
No.
not a bad idea. Let's go.
Right. Let's head into the village, and right on there's the bestiary as well, which I didn't tell you about. Right, so if I push the menu button again, right. Every monster you encounter will be, every new monster you encounter will be added to the bestiary, and it's always worth reading this. The first things we fought were those ghouls, and what it'll tell you is certain things that you don't have to read all the text, but it'll tell you what they're vulnerable against, and that's telling you necrophage oil. Now, oils are used to coat your sword. You'll get manuscripts at some point to tell you how to make those oils. Again, they don't give you a massive advantage, but it might increase the attack against them by like 5-10% or something, So it's always worth reading these. So we've just fought wolves, so again they'll be vulnerable against beast oil, and hybrids now has added the griffin because we encountered the griffin, and again see it's showing you the hard sign is it's weak against hybrid oil and grape shot. Right, so it's always worth when you encounter a new enemy reading the bestiary. There'll be certain books you read and notes you find which will give you information on a certain beast, so that'll automatically then be added to this page. So you may even if it's a new enemy, it's worth looking to see if there's something on it. And there's also categories for enemies, and then so necrophages will all have similar weaknesses. Hybrids will have certain similar weaknesses. So again, if you notice in a certain category, it's going to be vulnerable against a similar sort of similar things. Right, so let's head to the village.
So, a griffin this close to the village? Strange.
my thoughts exactly. In the forest or the mountains, sure, but here, near the main road.
Maybe it's the war. Corpses everywhere, the stench of blood, burnt flesh. Drives monsters crazy sometimes.
Men, too.
Right, so just found there's another signpost there. Look, so if I look on the map now, you can see now that signpost has been added there.
We learn anything.
Right. Right, and we'll dismount now and go into the tavern.
Beg your pardon for those thugs.
No need. We're used.
Folk are jumpy round. Ram?
Alive.
Master Witch.
Right, so she's an innkeeper. So I can buy and sell
What you got behind the counter?
from her. Right, so show my inventory now on the left. I can sell this raw meat to her, but it's only worth 2 coins, so it's not a great deal. Again, certain merchants will only buy and sell certain items. I can sell the wolf hide I found for 18 coin as well. It's probably worth buying some food off it. I got 250. Again, right, there's if you look at it, it tells you how much vitality they recover. The food and drink is all pretty much the same, but the effect can take a bit longer with certain items. So check in there, like 80 vitality regeneration, but it takes 10 seconds to fully revitalize. You can buy alcoholic drinks as well. They will also you can also use them to increase your energy, to your vitality rather, your health bar. But anything alcoholic blurs the screen for a certain amount of time, so it's best to avoid anything alcoholic. It's actually looking right. So it's telling me I'm having a look now to see which is the cheapest. So the price there, 29, 25. Right, the 81 is times 9 times 9. So it looks like the bread and the plum is the cheapest. But to be honest, I very rarely buy food, because if you're very good at looting, you'll tend to get as much food and drink as you'll need. But at this early stage in the game, we haven't got much, so it is worth buying some. That's all my money gone now as well. Right, let's skip through these dialogue options.
I've not seen. Look.
Yeah, and you can end the conversation then with the one at the bottom.
Thanks for everything.
Only killed lives.
If someone will help you bandage that up,
Please.
then I'll ask.
Right.
Better that than burning the harvest.
Right, there is something when you can speak to all these people.
I'm looking for someone.
And we seek some peace and quiet.
Out of my
Right, if somebody's not, it's telling you exactly what I was going to tell you anyway. If someone's not cooperating, you can use the Axii sign on them, and it may or may not work. But it will always give you experience points.
Talk.
Folks say the lady rode through the village a few days back. Galloping so fast she knocked Radabor into a ditch.
Which way did she go?
Oi, people! The
And I'll take.
Right, and you can also play, there's a card game as well, right, called Gwent. When you talk to certain people, like this chap here probably, he'll give you the option of playing the card game. Now, I didn't bother learning Gwent, just because
done drinking.
I just didn't have the time to learn. It's quite a complex. It's not like Snap. It's quite complicated. And there's plenty of online tutorials if you want to play it. If you do learn to play it, the advantages are you can get, I think you can play for money, so you can make money playing Gwent. And you'll get experience as well if you win a Gwent game. And there's certain quests that are Gwent specific quests, like collecting Gwent cards or entering tournaments. Right, I'll try to make him back off of Axii. Can't remember if this works or not. Got another 25 experience points. Oh, I haven't talked about experience points either and what they are.
Of course not. You've done nothing.
It doesn't always work. Right, and what I'm into now is a fist fight. Now, if he won't draw his sword because the other guys haven't got weapons, but it's exactly the same sort of combat situation. The guy's still stunned. I'm holding LT to keep my guard up, and I'm dodging out of the way of their punches, and then going in with a punch. But what you need, because you dodge, because part of the combat is dodging, it becomes quite difficult if you're sort of cornered or in a very tight space. You need a bit of room to maneuver. Right. Now, right, if I time it, so I press the LT button just as he's attacking, it'll stun him, and I can, like that, and I can get it 2 punches in. He's quite weak actually. There we go, another punch, he's down. I got 350 experience points. Right, I'll explain experience points, and then I think I'll stop just about there because it's nearly an hour. It's going to take forever to upload to YouTube. Right, so if I go back to the inventory page, right, you can see I'm level 1. And I've got 660 experience points out of 1,000. Once you get to 1,000, go up to level 2. You get experience points by completing elements of the quest, as you've seen as I've gone along, and beating monsters. You get the bulk of the experience points through completing quests. When you go up a level, it will increase your vitality, and it will also give you something called an ability point. Now, ability points are used exclusively on this character page. Right, I know this is a lot to take in at once, Chiz, and if you can come back to this tutorial and look at it when you need to, right? So I've got none available at the moment because I haven't gone up a level. But you can spend these on these different abilities. The red ones are specific to combat, the blue ones are specific to signs, and the green is specific to alchemy. So as I said before, there's 3 sort of branches. You can either do a sort of even split of going up some combat abilities, some sign abilities, and some alchemy abilities, or you can focus on one more than the other. I chose a sign build, they call it, so I was quite heavy on the signs, because what will happen is you'll only get 1 1 ability point for going up a level, and there's so many, you won't be able to use them on all of these, so you'll have to pick and choose which ones you think are are more suitable than others. There is also a general branch, again, which gives you some unspecific, what's the word, the 3 core ones are these ones, but this is just a general category. They just take 1 ability slot, 1 ability point, right? And then again, once you choose one that's on the left, you've also got to slide it then to the boxes that are on the right hand side to actually use it, right? You've got to bear that in mind as well. So it's not just spending it, you've actually got to put it into a slot. And the slots on the right, you've only actually got 1 available at the start. As you go up the levels, see it says there that slot is unlocked to level 2, this is unlocked to level 4, so you'll be able to put more abilities into the slots. So that's all I'm going to say on that for now. The alchemy bit is, because obviously the sign bit is obvious, you've got a branch for each of the signs, and the combat bit now should make a bit more sense, because this one is some of the fast attack abilities. That's the strong attack. Some they go against defensive abilities as well. Marksmanship, you'll get a crossbow later on, which isn't used all that often. So it's kind of up to you really, Chiz, which path, how you go to which sort of abilities you choose to upgrade. Let's see if I can recommend. If I recommend something on the Quen, because you'll always use the Quen in combat, because it always gives you that defensive shield, and you will always get hit at some point, no matter how well you dodge. So that's definitely one I'd recommend. And some of the fast attack, you always use fast attack more than use strong attack, so definitely some of those fast attack ones you'll need to level up. In the general branch, you've got a very useful one at the start, is gourmet, eating food regenerates vitality for 20 minutes. You'll get a lot more vitality or health recovered per item of food. So that one is one that's good at the start. And also another one I got at the start was, but again, you can only use one of these at a time, is the Sun and Stars one, because that regenerates vitality automatically at 10 points per second. Then again, once you're out to combat, you can just meditate anyway for the lower difficulty levels, so perhaps that isn't actually worth it. Again, it's up to you. Right, so that is that. And right, one last thing then. Alright, oh yeah, saving your game. Forgot about saving the game. it will auto save, I think, every 10 seconds. Not every 10 seconds, every 10 minutes. But right, how do I actually save on this? Oh, it'll be the other menu button. Just go to save and just manually save the game. You can go to options. Oh, again, in the options menu now, this is where you'll change the difficulty as well. This in the gameplay difficulty level, see, so you can change this at any point. And also it auto saves for every 10 minutes. Oh no, I've got mine set up to 5 minutes, but I think the default is 10. You might be better off changing that to 5, because 10 minutes is actually a long time. You can do quite a lot. Like when I done that in the video going through the bandit camp, that took 10 minutes. So if I'd gone all the way through that and I died on the boss, I would have had to reload then, because once you die, there's no lives or anything. Once that red bar goes all the way down, you're dead, and you just have to go back to the last save point. Right, and then the final thing I want to say before I stop this is every village has a notice board. Well, actually not every village, but the bigger villages have notice boards. You will get, this is the main place you go to get the quests. So if you use a notice board, you don't have to read all of this text, but if you pick up every notice, like that, right, on the left then, it's telling me now there's new undiscovered locations, right, and you've picked up, then one of those notices was a contract, Devil by the Well, right? So now if I go to the, and there's another quest called Missing in Action. So if I go to the quests page and go to secondary quests, it's added now Missing in Action and the contract Devil by the Well. The contracts, it gives you a recommended level before you do them. As long as it's your level or 1 or 2, few above, you should be fine. But anything that's well above it, you're gonna have to just avoid for now, until your level goes up. But generally, in this area, you won't find anything that's too high above your current level anyway. Right. So again, Lilac and Gooseberries, the main quest is selected. If I just press A, look, it'll change to Missing in Action. And then now if I go to the map page, which is this one, it will show me where I need to go for that particular quest, which is back over here, back to this village. Right. So again, if I go back to the main quest and select it, and now go to the world map, it's changed now, look, because I've got to ask the travellers in that tavern about Yennefer. And what that notice board has also added is these white question marks, which are undiscovered locations. Now, they could be anything. They could be like a person distressed, or hidden treasure, or there's a monster area to fight or something like that. So again, by completing them, you'll also get extra experience points, and they may also trigger other quests. So don't feel you have to complete all of them, because it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. But you can do some of them, or do some of the contracts, and then return to the main quest. If you can find that as you're going through the main quest, you may find some of the levels of the monsters start to get a bit high. So then again, it might be worth doing some side quests or some contracts to boost up your level, Right, so I think I'll leave it there, Chiz. There is more I can tell you about getting armor and sword and different swords and weapons and things, but I'll go into that on another video for now. We'll just call it. There's quite a lot to take in there, so I'll just leave it there for now. Okay, Chiz?
You talk bigger bollocks than a noon rates unicorn.